Hey everybody, so this is another video in this kind of little series I'm doing about the disconnect between people who are awake and people who are unawake. And one of the things I've been asked too is, how do I do what I do? Now, I'm not posting these videos because people are being mean or angry or anything towards me at all. That's not actually the case. I've been guided to post these videos because I think people are waking up and they need to have this content out there. And every once in a while I go through these kind of cycles of like, okay, do a couple more type of thing, and kind of talk about it in different ways. So how do I do what I do? Doesn't mean the technique, doesn't mean the practice, doesn't mean the step-by-step, here's how you connect to fairies and galactics and all that. What a lot of people ask me is, how do you do what you do? Meaning, when society is so, and there's something trying to get in my car. Some sort of weird looking bug, because I'm in Georgia. And so I'm going to close my sunroof before that creepy looking bug gets in my car. It's part of doing these videos on the go. So how do I do what I do? Well, what I do when it comes to society is I have taken up a very clear mindset, I guess is the word, a very clear mindset, a very firm mindset of, I just don't care. I know people will ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? How do you put this content out there when people, it's pretty common to see different things come out that are like, oh, hey, you're crazy, or this or that, or family or friends and those types of things. Well, my friends, I ended up walking away from a lot of that a long time ago and healed from that. Family I've known doesn't necessarily support what I do or understand it at all, and that's okay. But I've just come to this conclusion that in the end, I don't care. If people don't want to believe what I believe, it's okay. It's on them. It's not my responsibility. This is something I teach, that the way that others react is not our responsibility. We're only responsible for how we respond to their reaction, and to make sure we're responding, not reacting. Reacting is when you're doing something because you're unhealed and you're not actually observing and making a choice to act that way. You're just reacting. When you respond and can come at things from observation, you can show them love and non-judgment and all that. It does not mean you have to engage with them. It does not mean you have to spend time with them or anything like that. You can just understand that they're not going to understand you, and that's okay. And they can go do what they want in their own reality, and you can do what you want in your reality. That's how I do this. I don't put any emphasis on what people say who don't believe me. I just know that they don't currently have the capacity to understand what I do, and they will in the future, should they choose. And when they are ready to choose that, I'll be here to be like, hey, here's the content, here's the teachings. But until then, I'm not going to argue with them. And that's one of the biggest things, is people, when they're waking up, they want to argue with people. It's like, don't waste your time. There's a very good parable about a tiger and a donkey, and they're down by the river and they're looking at grass, and they're looking at this grass, and the donkey's saying that the grass is blue. He's like, it's blue. And the tiger's like, what are you talking about? The grass is green. I can see it right here. It's green. Like, you can't tell me it's blue. And the donkey's like, it's blue. Doesn't matter. It's blue. This is what it is. So the tiger takes the donkey to the lion, the king of the jungle. And the lion, or the donkey, says, hey, the grass is blue. And the tiger's like, lion, the grass is green. Like, we know the grass is green. Why, help me here. What's going on? And the lion tells the donkey, you're right. The grass is blue. See you later. Good luck. And the donkey's like, yeah, and goes and walks away. And then the lion punishes, I forget how the whole thing goes, but the lion punishes the tiger. And the tiger's like, why did you punish me? And the lion's like, why were you arguing with a fool and then bringing them to me to argue with them too. Don't argue with fools. Don't argue with people who cannot observationally understand you, who cannot put their judgments aside, who cannot put their preconceptions aside, who cannot put their reality aside and go, what if this, what if that? And you'll see that the people who react in anger and aggression are not coming from a loving heart space, because it's not a loving heart space. The people who actually, and there are people who don't believe in this stuff, who come from things from a loving heart space, but they're not going to attack you. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to be like, hey, I don't understand this. Explain this to me. What are you talking about? That type of thing. The people who are not coming from a loving heart space are going to be aggressive. They're going to be angry. They're going to be threatened. They're going to be fearful, that sort of thing. Let them. It's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to your authentic self, to holding the vibration you wish to hold, the reality you wish to hold, to constantly growing. And that's a big thing. A lot of people don't want to grow, and they see you grow, and it shows them that they're not growing, so they get threatened from your growth. That's the whole, like, when families and friends and stuff say, I don't know what's going on, but they're changing, they're different now. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to be different. You're supposed to learn new things, to grow, to expand, to become your own authentic self, to be your own version of self. You're supposed to have death over death over death of self, to become something new, to transform, to continue forward. People who don't want to do that are going to stay at the same space. Their life is going to be the same. Every day is the same. They're the ones working the jobs every day, that it's just the same thing over and over. Go party on the weekends, back to the jobs, be miserable. And as I like to say, somebody in the comments on Instagram had pointed this out in a different way from somebody they had heard, and I was like, the way I like to say this is, I would rather be crazy and experiencing magic like this than be normal, quote unquote normal, and miserable day in and day out. That's the biggest difference that you'll see. People who are awake and experiencing this stuff are super happy, super magical experiences and beautiful times and things that people are like, how is this happening? And then you see people who are the ones fighting it, and the ones fighting it are the ones who are also miserable. It's like, why fight it? Why not let that magic in? Why not say, what if that could be real? What if that is real? What if there's more than we know out there? And then understanding that when you're connecting with these people, if they don't agree with you, it's okay. Do your own thing. Stick to your authentic self. It's not the easiest if you're living with your family, or if you're, in a day job and that sort of thing with your coworkers, but do what I do. Don't talk about it. Never talk about anything to anyone who does not support you. That's a key lesson for everybody. If they do not support you and you talk about them, they will energetically pull you away from it. Manifestations, all that. I try not to release anything I'm actually doing until it's complete, or until I know for sure that I'm doing it. Like, I knew about, like, Lemurian Life Expo is a big one. People were asking me about different things that were coming up, and I never said anything about it. I was like, until that contract is signed, until it is firm and I am on that event, that's when I'll share it. Because if I share it before then, people who don't have my back, there's chances of them pulling that down. And that's something that successful people will tell you all the time. I mean, multimillionaires and all that, they'll be like, don't share anything with anybody unless they support you 100% and are championing you. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but the way you do this work is by literally not caring what anybody else thinks. Embracing your authenticity no matter what, staying strong in that, and knowing that it is okay to be weird, it is okay to be strange, it is okay to be creative, it is okay to be you. And if you are you, you will find people who love you for you. So Love you all. Grateful for each and every one of you.